First of all, good to see you again. 2 games in, 2 defeats. So, to start on a negative, apologies. But what's the assessment so far from you?
Yeah, obviously something that we're not happy about, but there's some definitely improvement in round 3 against St Helens. So, the first week of the competition, first round of the competition, I thought we were very clunky and very frustrating to watch. It was obvious that a lot of the players hadn't played before and a halves combination that need time to gel. But I was very proud of the efforts on Friday night against Saints. I thought, had a couple of decisions gone our way, I think the outcome could have been different. And they're playing some good rugby at the moment. So that's what we wanted to play the best team at that stage of the season, and I thought we were there or thereabouts. So some good signs moving forward, and all we can focus now on is our performance for Leeds here on Friday night.
Yeah, it sounds like there is no need at this stage to panic or a big inquest. You are happy with how the team are going, and it will come. It's just been a difficult start.
Yeah, it's been very similar, mirrored the last 2 years of me coaching here. To be honest with you, that's the frustrating part. But like the last 2 years, we've also introduced a lot of new faces into the squad. So I think we've got 10 new players in our squad of 32 players this year, and I think there was like 6 positional changes. I know all teams have got positional changes, but with Jack Hughes in the front row and a new player with Brad Dwyer starting at 9 instead of Edwin Apape, who only played 7 minutes in round 1, and John Asiata, who probably matched that time in our second game. So it's not ideal that that's happened, but it certainly plays a part in upsetting the rhythm of the team. But as the game got on, I thought we managed to play without John really well, and that's the exciting parts moving forward. But we've got new faces like Frankie Holton, who didn't start for us last year at all, played minimum time, who's come back from injury. Ricky Latelli, who's been out for 6 months with a vertebrae back operation, and the list goes on. New player, and Dan Norman off the bench, Owen Trout off the bench. So there's a lot of new faces there that, Matty Moylan, probably the most senior one out of all of them, a new face to us. So it's going to take time, and I understand that, though it's difficult to manage that process when it's happening right in front of your eyes. But there's good reason to think that we're going to improve. It's just about spending time together, and literally it takes between 6 to 10 weeks in my experiences to get your team gels. So we just got to jag a win there and build some confidence off the back of that. I'm sure things will change.
I was going to ask you, how long do you reckon it will take to get up to speed? So you're expecting another difficult test? I know Leeds have obviously won 2 of their opening 3 anyway, but a difficult test this weekend, given that your side is still trying to get up to speed.
Yeah, it's a must-win for us, really, in the sense of not getting left behind on the ladder so early on in the season, though I realise it's going to take some time to play our best rugby and our new players to blend in. We've got to find a way to win this weekend, and we weren't good here on round 1 with a capacity stadium, so we want to thank and respond to our fans with a performance that we're happy with and that they're proud of, and it starts this week. So they're a good team. They're in some good form. They've recruited really well and heavily as well. So they'll come here certainly with a lot of confidence.
Thank you, mate. Best of luck for the weekend.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, Adrian. The obvious question relates to John Asiata and Tom Briscoe. I think you said that they'd go for scans on the calves. Do you know the severity of their injuries yet?
Yeah, both have got a grade 2 tear in their calves. So one's like a 12 centimetre tear, which is John, and I think Briscoe's got a 10 centimetre tear in there. So that's between 6 weeks to onwards from that point on. So it's long term for both of them. So it's the same amount of time. I think Edwin's around that 8-week mark as well. So we're going to be without those 3 for a long period of time at the start of the season. But I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. It's not ideal. And completely different than what we've had in the past. We've been really good here injury-wise, and I'm sure that'll improve as the season goes on. But it's an opportunity for someone else to put their hand up and take the reins of the team through that middle there. So we'll change our game up slightly to adjust. But I think that in my experiences, if with teams that do lose their most influential or best players at the start of the season, the ones that can learn to play without them definitely benefit when they come back and go to another level as a group. and there or thereabouts at the end of the season too. So, we understand there's a massive challenge ahead without, I think I heard it somewhere the other day about, no Tom or Moan as well. So 3 of the Super League Dream Team players not in our team for round 3, or to play out the majority of the game in round 3 was quite difficult. But we'll have to learn to do that.
Obviously, John plays such an important role in the way that you attack.
Yeah.
But you said it's an opportunity for someone to step up. Is there anyone in the squad ready to take on the responsibility and the role that he takes, or do you have to tweak the way that you play to work to the strengths of whoever will replace him?
Yeah, I've got a few players there that have certainly been under John's guard there and learning the style that we love to play. Whether we do that or not is something that you'll see, I guess, on Friday night. But it has been very. We have been a dominant team with John there playing that style, so we can't see us changing too much from that. I thought we got a lot of joy against St Helens by moving the ball, but whether that, we've just got to minimise our errors. I thought, in both games we've played, we've not completed our sets really well and put us under a lot of pressure. So that'll be the main focus, and then we'll I guess you'll see the style that we play once we kick off.
And Tom, obviously, so good in yardage and starting your sets and everything else. Who takes on that responsibility? Who's the natural person to move in there?
Well, Tom Moan's back now. He's only had 1 week suspension, so at least he's back into the squad. I was quite happy with the overall squad in the sense of the efforts that they put in towards the St Helens game. There's a lot of smarts and discipline that we could fix, so it'll be a very similar squad to what we played there. So I've just got to make some decisions on what happens with Briscoe and that player to come in. But I think it'll pick itself and give the players another opportunity to perform well.
And just on the recruitment front, you brought Brad Dwyer in last week.
Yeah.
I know that publicly you've said that you're a fan of David Armstrong, who obviously adds pace and can play in the backs. Is there any possibility that could happen to help fill that void, or is that just something that's not feasible right now?
No, I think, Matt, I think it's always an opportunity or chance to keep our eyes open for players like that, and we've made it very clear that he's a player that I've followed and supported and like the way that the style he plays will certainly suit us, and I think it's one that we'll just keep in our back pocket until an opportunity comes up, or keep our eyes open for that for players who are available to make your team better. So he is certainly one of them, but we'll probably know a little bit more about that as the season unfolds.
And just finally from me, the RFL's confirmed that they're going to be investigating an incident. I think there was some footage that went on social media with a spectator at the St Helens game. Yeah. Is there any official stance from the club on that at the minute that you can tell us on?
No, not at the minute. I'm not quite exactly over it myself, so I'm not in a position to make a comment there. Though I think I think the players should be protected at all times around that area, and I felt that where I sat, I could hear people abusing heavily. So, I've got nothing else to add to that.
Cheers, Adrian.
Okay, mate. Thanks.
Just a couple, Lammy. With those calf injuries, were they just freak injuries, or was there anything in training or build-up that sort of contributed to those? To get 2 in one night seems a little weird.
Yeah, at the extreme that it was as well, Trevor. I think the players, we're still quite heavy-legged now and quite tired. I've had to readjust the schedule to make sure that the players are freshening up. But there was a lot of complaints about the heaviness of the field. And no disrespect to St Helens and the ground, but the feedback was it was very, very heavy underfoot, and three or four other players had tight calves and strains as well. So it's something that we're obviously disappointed about, but we can't change that outcome now. But I just think that maybe the pitch needs to be looked at as well, just to make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Have you got? Well, you will have somebody in mind to replace Tom Briscoe. Does somebody like Tom Nesbitt or Ed Chamberlain sort of come into the reckoning?
Yeah, a few of the boys that have been really good over the pre-season have been, the names you mentioned. Ed Chamberlain's been very good. Tom Nisbet's been very good. Yamila Hanley, Keenan Brown. It'll come out of those 4 players, the replacement. So, like I said, I'm excited because I think any one of those players deserve an opportunity. So, whoever gets named there, either got an opportunity to put their best foot forward.
What have you made of Leeds' start to this season? You had a good record against them last year.
Yeah, they've recruited very well, as mentioned earlier. I think some of the younger outside backs who have been, threatened to set Super League alight in the last couple of seasons have certainly helped the way that they've performed this year. They're a team that look like they're well connected and playing for each other. So, it'll be no different. It'll be a massive game for us as a club. We need our first win, and when we're at home as well. So, the focus for me and the team this week have been more about us and not too much about Leeds, because I feel that's where we need to be to get the result we deserve.
Can you actually believe that the start you've had with all the problems, Adrian? I mean, everything went so swimmingly last year, perhaps till the back end, but this time you've had a spate of issues.
Yeah, I think it is a surprise because the way that we train, I think, is a big reason why we haven't had so many injuries in the past. We've got a philosophy around that, and the heavy ground didn't help the other day. But I think players such as the Edwin Apapes have had the extended time with international rugby after it. And that's not an excuse as well. But if you don't get your pre-season right, you can get these niggly injuries. So it's unfortunate what's happened, but it's time for everyone else in the group to step up. We're not a one-man or a two-man team or a three-man team, so to speak, in this situation. I think we're better than that, and I look forward to us showing everyone that we can play without them.
Smashing. Thanks very much, Adrian.
No problem.
Hi, Adrian. You all right?
Hey, Gary. Good. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just one for me. Because of the amount of signings that Leeds have made and in the positions they've made them, with all these spine and everything, how much of it, almost like a journey into the unknown, is preparing for Leeds this year? Yeah,
it's like I said, Gary. It's a week where I've tried not to look too much into Leeds, to be honest with you. My philosophy is when you're doing it tough like we are, it's better to stay within the group and make sure we get answers from within. That's where I'm at, and that's where the group's at. I will give respect to Leeds, though. They've recruited very well, and they've got some great quality players there. And I think they're obviously had 2 really, really strong, good wins, albeit in the back half of the game. So, we need to have a really good, strong performance here in front of our fans for our first win. So the focus has been on us.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, Adrian.
Drew,
Well?
all good.
Just one from me. Everything's pretty much been covered. Just the reserves game last week.
Yeah.
Which players kind of stood out to you? Potentially put themselves in your thoughts for a first team.
Well, firstly, we're just grateful that we got the opportunity to have a reserve grade side or reserve grade squad. It's something that we haven't had here at this club for a long time, and something that's needed to be able to fulfil positions when they come up, like the current situation. So, luckily enough, they had a friendly against Rochdale here in Lee, and I thought our players, I think there were 7 players that ended up playing. I think Keenan Brown was out on loan to Bradford, and Jacob Jones was on loan to London. So I think 6 or 7 players played, and I was very impressed with them all. I thought they all really tough conditions in a muddy ground, which was wet, against a committed Rochdale team. I thought, it's exactly what we needed from them. So I'm very grateful that we have the reserve grade team and it's up and running. Those players did a good job for the team in that first half when they were asked to do so, and they get their first match this weekend against Leeds as well, ironically in reserve grade. So we're keeping a close eye on that.
And just on Brandon Jones, what have you made of them in their respective loan spells so far?
Yeah, I've always been of the belief that your squad players need to play. You can't get better unless you do, and a classic example is my own son Lachlan, who was at the Roosters as 18th man and not playing every week. So some of the players, such as we bought, like the Dan Normans and Owen Trouts, have played minimal Super League time in the last couple of years. But when you've got that reserve grade game, to get better as a player, what you learn through that pre-season, you need to show that on game day in that 80 minutes. And at least they get to do that now and develop as a player. So what it also does is it's under the eye of me and the other coaching staff, and by doing that, it puts them in the picture easier and quicker to be able to be considered to be selected. So, like I said, we're grateful that we've got those players and that team there now to be able to choose from. Stu Little, the coach, is doing a great job with them, and we're working in really closely to make sure that our schedules align. And by doing so, you know, we'll pull up one of those players this week to play in that right side wing spot.